Hi everyone, all right, we're going to do percents. So students will solve equations with proportional reasoning. And so something helpful that we can do with proportional reasoning is we can get our percentages. So to do that, this is one of many ways. So we're not going to do all of the problems just like this. There are shorter cuts, or shortcuts, not shorter cuts. So you could take a part over a whole, which does give you a percent or a decimal, and then that should equal whatever percent that is over 100. So if you remember to convert, let's say 0.05, if we want that to be a percent, you could either multiply by 100 and then you get 5%, or you can take this decimal and move it back 2 spaces and you get the same thing. So there's going to be there's multiple ways that we're going to do stuff today. The main thing is getting the concept of actually finding a percent or finding, the pieces that we need. So the first example that we have, 21 is what percent of 35. So I always like to set up an equation. So 21 equals 35 times some unknown decimal that is a percent. So then when you divide, because you're using solving equations properties, all those steps and procedures, you have 21 over 35, which should equal 0.6, okay? And it's asking for what percent. So then you would take that decimal and you could move the decimal place over 2 times and you get 60%, or multiply it by 100. But this is the percent. What percent? You convert it to a decimal to do your operations, but then your answer should be with the percentage. So I want you to go ahead and do number 2 now. All right, so 28 is what percent of 50? So 28 it's equal to 50 times some decimal, so we can find that percent. So when we divide over, we get 28 divided by 50, and we get 0.56, which gives us 56%. Okay, you do not have a percentage button in your calculator, so you need to understand that you can move the decimal over 2 times. That's your little shortcut. Or you can multiply by 100 and you get that decimal. So examples 3 and 4, find part given the percent in the whole. So what is 12% of 175 and what is 90% of 130? So the first thing, you have to convert 12% to a decimal. And so you're going to do the opposite of what we just talked about. The decimal is right behind the 2. So you're going to move it 2 spaces to the left. Or you can take 12 and divide by 100 and you get the same number. Okay? So to do that, so some unknown is 12%, and then of right here, this keyword of is multiplication. Okay, so 12% of 175. So when you do the multiplication, you should get 21. Okay, so you need to convert to a percent first, or convert to a decimal first, I'm sorry, and then you're going to use that decimal to find your answer. So I want you to go ahead and do example 4 now. Okay, so 90% of 130, remember 90% as a decimal is 0.9, so that's where the 0.9 comes from. Of is multiplication, so 0.9 times 130, you should get 117. Remember, if you have any questions, you need to be asking in class, so write them down so you remember. So find the whole given the part and the percent. So 9 equals 45%, so 45% as a decimal is 0.45, so 0.45 of what number? Of some number multiplying, and then you have an unknown. So I find it easier to create equations to get what I need versus setting up a proportion. We do need to set up proportions for other problems, but for some of this stuff, I think it might be easier just to do an equation. So if we go back to example 5, we're going to divide over by 0.45, and we have 9 divided by 0.45, and we should get 20. So 20 times 45%, so 20 times 0.45 gives us 9. So I want you to go ahead and do example 6 on your own. 91 is 70% of what number? Go ahead and do that now. All right, so 91 equals 70% as a decimal is 0.7. Of what number? Remember, of is multiply, so 0.7 times x equals 91. Divide by your 0.7s, and you should get x equals 130. Okay, again, if you have any questions about where all that comes from, just let me know. Again, you don't have a percent button in your calculator, so make sure you know how to find that mathematically. So then the second thing we're going to find is percent of change. So to find the percent of change, it's really the amount of change. Okay, and we're going to talk about how to find that divided by the original amount. Okay, original amount. So percent increase, okay, when you have a percent increase, this, if my pen will work, described, whoa, super fun. Describes how we can say amount, I abbreviate amount as AMT, so amount went up from the original, okay? And then sometimes the vocabulary word that we use to describe that is called a markup, so markup price. So when you have an increase and you're selling something, sometimes we call that a markup, and we'll talk about that in the examples coming up. So then percent decrease, so if the percent increase describes the amount that went up, the decrease would describe the amount, or how the amount went down. Okay, and we call that sometimes discount. Okay, we call it a discount or sale price. That's a good word, or good vocab words that we use. Again, there's more to describe these, but these are the main ones. So if you see something else, that's definitely not the only ones. So keep that in mind. So we're going to do some examples. So example 1, something super basic. We're going from 25 to 49. So, all right, so to go from 25 to 49, 25 is our original here, okay? And then the 49 is the new number we get. So to do our amount of change, we need to take our numbers up top and subtract, and we should always have a positive. So if you need to put the original first minus your new number, or like we have here, we have original minus new, whatever you need to do to get a positive. Some people say the absolute value of new minus your original. So if that's helpful, that's really what this is. We're just trying to keep it positive. And then you're going to divide it by your original. This is that formula we just talked about. So 49 minus 25 does give you 24. It should be a positive number. So then we're going to find the percent. So 24 divided by 25, we get 0.96. 0.96 as a percent is just 96%. So you could say that this had a percent increase of 96%. And I always like to use arrow for increase if I want to show that. Okay. So then example 2, Susie purchased a daily planner. The wholesale cost was $25. What was the percent markup? So wholesale cost means the store is buying it cheaper from someone else. So the original price, I'm going to put an O. So the original price was 25. Your new price is 32. So they want to know the percent markup. Okay, so 32 minus 25 all over the original price of 25. So 7 over 25, and we get a decimal of 0.28. So your answer is 28%. Okay. So make sure if it's asking for the percent that you give the percent. All right. So I want you at this point, I want you to try examples 3 and 4. And I want you to go ahead and do that now. All right, so for examples 3 and 4, 3, a bottle of water costs $1.25 in the vending machine, but the markup, this price is the markup from the wholesale price. The wholesale price was 20 cents. So your original is 20, your new is 125. So when you subtract the two, you get $1.05 divided by the original 20 cents. So it's a markup of 525%. So you should have gotten this decimal 525. It's not $5.25, it's the percent 525. Okay, 525%. So bottled water is one of the biggest things that gets marked up. It's super cheap to make, but we pay a lot for it. So example 4, our last one for percent increase, you're going from your original 79 beats per minute to the new 98 beats per minute. I wrote the wrong number, so 79. So then you get 19 divided by 79, and you should get 24, just 24%. I apologize, there we go. Okay, 24%. So it was a 24% increase in his heart rate. So now we're going to talk about percent decrease. So it's the same idea. Again, we're going to take our original and our new and subtract and then divide by the original. So you're going from 50 to 45. So your original is 50 and your new is 45. So you're going to take 50 minus 45, 45 divided by 50. So you get 5 over 50, which is 10%. Okay, it's 0.1, and then you can convert it to a decimal. Okay, so make sure you have a positive number up top. That's the biggest thing. Okay, that's the biggest thing. So for Carlos, he used a coupon and paid $7.34 for a pizza that normally costs $10.50. So what is the percent of discount? So, discount price. So what is the percent of that discount? So your original is $10.50, your new is $7.35. So when you subtract, you should set it up so you're going to have a positive number up top divided by your original. So when you do that, you should get $3.15 over $10.50. And then when you divide it, you should get 0.3. So now 0.3 as a decimal is 30%. So it was a 30% off coupon or discount. Okay, so your discount was 30%. Okay. So I want you at this point, I want you to go ahead and do examples 7 and 8 on your own. Be careful with number 8. Make sure you look at what it's asking. Okay, I'll go ahead and do that now. All right, for 7, the original price, it says that in the problem, the original is $12. Your new price is $3.60. And what is the percent of discount? So she got a 70% discount on that book. So example 8, the water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit at sea level. Sea level is 0 feet, okay, FYI, and 193.7 degrees Fahrenheit at 10,000 feet. So what is the percent of decrease? So the decrease in the temperatures is what you're looking for to the nearest tenth of a percent. So your original, your new, subtract the two, and you should get 8.6%. Okay? If you have any questions, please just let me know, ask in class. Other than that, have a good day.